What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first show of Club 50 Sports. It is me, your boy A Dub. I am here with my best friend and brother of 30 years, Mr. Manny Castro. We're in the building. We're here to talk sports. We're here to talk basketball. We're here to talk football. And we're giving you our take on it, not your take, our take on what we saw this week. Manny, what's going on, man? How you doing, my bro?
We're doing great, man. We're doing great. Looking forward for this adventure. Finally starting our own channel. It has been a long time coming, but we finally made it happen. And to all our audience, if you like to watch sports, especially football and basketball, this is where you want to be. Please subscribe to the channel. Press like. We promise you we are going to bring you great content every single week.
That
Okay?
is facts.
Let's go.
That
Let's
is
go.
facts. Let's get to it. Yo.
Let's go.
All right. So here we are. We are Club 50 Sports. And first, let's talk about the game that took place in London. You know what I mean? I don't know what you want me to kick it off. And you know what? I'm gonna give you the stage. I'm gonna give you the platform. This game happened in Europe, and let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, I was very surprised about what happened on Sunday, especially coming from the Dolphins. I thought I actually picked the Dolphins to win by like a field goal. But the Dolphins offense, they sputtered like in the first half. They went 0 for 5 on first downs. I think people are starting to figure out Mike McDaniel's running through the outside zone. He loves to run to the outside, and I think he needs to design more inside runs for this Dolphins offense to be more successful. It's amazing that we only scored 14 points in the first half. The Dolphins, we went for the over. I think it was the first time in the Mike McDaniel's era that the Dolphins did not score a single point in the second half. I mean, in the first half. That is no good. You don't win games like you do not win games like this. And I was also very surprised that the Dolphins actually we shut down Travis Kelsey. And I was like, oh, this game is looking like we might have a chance. We might have a chance. But again, it killed like penalties killed us. I think Mike McDaniels, if I want to say, they were trying to get Hill going, which I understand because that's his old team. But sometimes you need to take a back seat and say, you know what, we need to be a point guard in the NBA. You got to distribute the ball to your go receivers. You got Preston Barriers, you got Jalen Waddle, you got now Chase Claypool. And I was very disappointed that the Dolphins didn't get these guys started. It was not good. Like it was, Hill had a very quiet game. Um, and
Well, I'll tell you, if you get those other guys involved, guess what that's going to do? It's going to open up Tyreek Hill. Once you start getting Waddle the ball, once you start getting most of the ball, the defense is going to have to move away from Tyreek Hill to go ahead and offer an answer for those other players. You can't just force feed somebody in the National Football League. That's just not the way it works. You want to throw into triple coverage, it's going to be a very long day for you. Um, I'll
and,
tell you
and the thing is, what I'm thinking here is that you need to run the ball inside. You have to pound the ball. You have to pound the ball against these great defenses because they're not going to let you score through the air. You cannot be pass happy. You cannot be. You have electric receivers. I don't care. You need to run the ball. The Dolphins average 150 yards running the ball this season. They have averaged 150. We had 98 misty yards on Sunday. That's
what,
and
well,
most of
that's
those
not
yards came
horrible.
in the second half. But
That,
most of these yards came in the second half, though.
this is true. But hey, listen, Kansas City, that defense is nothing to sneeze at right now. You know what I
They're
mean? You
pretty
got you
good. That
got big
defense is
nine
pretty
five
good.
in the middle. So you're talking about running the ball in the middle. You got big 9-5 in there, and he's no joke. You know what I mean? It's like running into a wall at times. I'm going to tell you this right now. When it comes to the game itself, the time of possession was nearly even. You're talking about
Yeah.
30 minutes of time of possession to 29 minutes of of possession for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Kansas City Chiefs were just slightly under. The third down efficiency was where I saw it was uncharacteristic of both teams. I believe that the Dolphins went 25% third down conversions. The
That's
Chiefs
correct. Yes, sir.
were 30% third down
That's correct.
conversions. Neither of these teams. That's not typical of either of these teams. Very low scoring game as well. I'm thinking that this was going to be a little bit of a early morning shootout kind of thing, and Dolphins come into the game with 35 touchdowns, leading the league, and it was a bit of a stinker, to be quite honest with you.
I thought it was going to be also a high scoring game, maybe like a 30-27. But I think, to be honest with you, Jalen Ramsey, I'm sorry, Jalen Ramsey is making a big difference on this defense. He's making a big difference because the thing is, when Kansas City drove their first possession, they drove down the field. I was like, oh man, they scored very quick. I thought the Dolphins were also going to do like the same thing, and the Dolphins offense, they sputter and they sputter. I'm like, oh my god, like I think we are going to get annihilated today in Germany. But let me tell you, man, Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard playing together for like actually the first time this year, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. I think Bradley Chubb is coming along like this year because last year, like when he first started with the Dolphins, like when he got traded, it was very quiet, but he has been averaging at least like one sack a game. We need Jalen
He's been
Phillips.
wrecking that pocket. He's been wrecking the
He's
pocket.
been wrecking that package, but we also need Jalen Phillips to be present in these big games. Which Sunday he put some pressures, but at the end of the day, you need to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to win in January if you don't put pressure on the quarterback. That is plain and simple. I like the fact again that they shut down Travis Kelsey. Dude, the Chiefs had 67 yards in the second half. They had 60 total yards in the second half. I was very surprised that we couldn't do anything on offense. Like, I don't know, we were just not moving the ball. Like, Mike McDaniels was not scheming people open. They were not scheming people open, and that's disappointing. I think Mike McDaniels in this bye week, you need to go back and look at film, what's working, what's not working, because it's fine that you can put up 40 against the bad teams. But guess what? In January, you're not going to see bad teams in the NFL. You're going to see the Cincinnati of the world, the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Jaguars. These are the teams that you're most likely going to see in January, for sure.
Correct.
That is a fact.
And I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up because the Dolphins have not beaten good teams this year. The Dolphins,
but we haven't.
The Dolphins against the Eagles, a loss. Chiefs, loss. Bills, loss. Chiefs was it was a stinker. But when you're talking about the Bills, 48-20, that especially after a week where you beat the brakes off of the Broncos, and then you come back and you lose 48-20. The Dolphins wins. Chargers, Patriots twice, Broncos, Giants, Panthers. None of those teams are going to the playoffs.
That's correct, Mr.
Wilson. Maybe the Chargers might sneak in, but I think that head coach needs to be fired as well. But that's a different topic for.
That's what they're talking for the day. Yes, that's for sure, sir.
But yeah, no convincing wins when it comes to the Dolphins win column. So the Dolphins definitely need to get it together. Another small little piece of notes here with regards to the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't look very good, but they're still third in passing in the league this year. But they're also fourth in interceptions. So Patrick Mahomes has not been taking care of the ball very well this season. Yeah. If the Chiefs expect to get back, and again, if they can win looking bad, which they have, just be careful. Be careful.
Let me ask you this. What do you think about Mike Edwards' play on Tyreek Hill on the fumble? You know what I call that in football? You know what you call that? Bang, bang play. That was a tremendous bang, bang play. What do you think about that one?
No, absolutely. That was definitely a huge play. Again, they're just gonna have to take advantage of these opportunities when they come their way. And the Dolphins against the good teams just still have not been able to do that. It's something that they're gonna have to beat some good teams. You already said that. They're gonna have to start beating some good teams. And
They
yeah,
have to.
you can beat up on the nerds in the league, but when it comes to the bullies, you got to be able to get out there and go blow for blow with the bullies as well. You can't just go into the playground and get beat up by the bully every time. So I'm going to tell you right now.
So let me ask you this: Do you see that Chiefs winning the conference? Do you still believe in them? Do you still see them winning the conference? And you think the playoffs will go through our head again? Do
Well,
you
that's
see
what
that happening,
history.
or you think that somebody else might overtake them in the
That's what
conference like
history
this year?
that's what history has said so far. But of course, this is the National Football League, so it's anybody's game at this point. The Chiefs better get that offense together because that defense is good, but they've always relied on Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce being
Yes.
able to fit the bill, and they've got to do that. They beat the Dolphins this past week, but again, the Dolphins have not shown themselves to be a worthy opponent to anybody that's worth talking about. They started off slow against the Panthers, came back and beat up on them like they were a little brother. But at the end of the day, the Dolphins need to show something. Kansas City's offense needs to step up. And when we're talking about the AFC Championship game and who might be there, let's move on to the next topic here.
Because I think this team that is coming up will be in the AFC Championship game for sure.
So, so yeah, the Ravens went up to Seattle and they put.
Seattle went to the Ravens. Yes, Seattle. By the way,
Were they in? Were they in
no,
Baltimore?
no, they were in Baltimore playing this weekend. Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the Ravens. I don't even really
What do
know why we're talking about this game, to be quite honest with you. Besides the fact that we just want to talk about the Ravens, I'm assuming that's the reason why we're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about this game because the Ravens are showing out in a big way right now.
Lamar Jackson got paid, and he's showing up. He's showing up. I said, I got some numbers for you. He went to the lab this past season, and the last 5 years he had a 64.5% completion percentage. This year he has 70% completion percentage.
So we're
We are
ticking up.
trending up. We are trending in the right direction here. And what I like about his game this year is that he's not rushing the ball less. He's rushing the ball less. He's letting his running back Edwards and Mitchell take the load off of him, which that's the way that it should be. Because you know me, Adam, I don't like for quarterbacks to be running the ball. They need to be throwing. That's why they're called the quarterback. They need to be throwing at the football. Unlike the Patriots, which we'll talk about them today, and our little time during the show. The pay the
Ravens.
the Ravens, they went and got this man some help. Thank the Lord. They got him a brand new OC, Todd Monken, and he has made a difference on Patrick Mahomes for sure. The Ravens, they're putting up points
On Lamar Jackson.
on Lamar Johnson. They're
Okay.
they're putting up points. They went and drafted Zay Flowers. They went and got
Odell
ODB.
Beckham.
Which congratulations, he caught his first touchdown since the Super Bowl. That since he blew the knee in the Super Bowl. You know,
Yeah, it's good to see Odell back. It's good to see him back.
yes. One thing to know: Seattle went 5 of 13 for. I mean, they rushed the ball for 5 times out of 13 times. 5 out of 13 for 24 yards. Very miserable to run the ball,
And
and
who
that's
did that?
Walker. The Seahawks in
Oh
this game.
yeah. Oh yeah. That was
They
horrible.
could not move the ball at all. They couldn't move the ball. They got outgained 515 total yards to 151. Not good, if you ask me. They were not converting on third downs, and it is a recipe for disaster. You need to convert. You need to convert on third downs. You just need to.
Oh,
And
they
yeah,
they, they got destroyed in every single way. They got time of possession in this game. Do you know what time of possession in this game was?
what was it? What happened? Talk to me.
The time of possession, Ravens held the ball 40 minutes and 4 seconds. The Seattle Seahawks had the ball 19 minutes and 56 seconds throughout the entire game. It was just a drumming. They just got they just got destroyed. It was a
That
beatdown of all beatdowns. This
that
should they
thing is
should
also that thing also that
there
Geno
should have
Smith.
been a mercy rule in this game.
No, yeah, and the thing also with Geno Smith, I'm not saying it's an okay quarterback. He's good. He could
No,
get you.
yeah, he's a good
He'll get you
quarterback.
wins. But he's one of those type of quarterbacks that he needs the running game to be clicking on all cylinders. And so that running game was not clicking. Well, guess what? The Ravens, they were pinning their ears backwards. They were like, we're going to go and hunt. We are going to go and hunt. And that's what happened in this game. And by the way, for the audience out there, the Ravens are ranked one statistically in the NFL with only allowing 13.8 points per game.
That's a good defense.
13.8 per game.
That's a good
Tremaine
defense.
Edwards, the signing in the offseason of Edmonds has clicked for that defense. It has clicked.
That's why I tell you, you can't really put all this on Geno Smith. Geno Smith is a good quarterback. He's shown
Yeah.
himself that his time in the Jets and in the Giants. You know what I mean? We get it. You know what I mean? Those are dumpster fires when it comes to NFL franchises. Let's just be honest. You know what I mean? New York is not the place to play unless you're talking about Orchard Park. When it comes to NFL franchises, the Giants and the Jets,
You're not
very
so.
low.
No,
But
they have
Geno
been very
Smith has
bad.
shown himself that he
Yeah.
can play this game. He was a Pro Bowler last year. It's just that the Baltimore Ravens defense is really, really good. Those guys, they got dogs on that side, man, and they get after you. And Geno
Marlon
Smith,
Humphries is a beast. He's a baller. Your Marlon Humphries is a baller. They have
Geno,
4 sacks. They have 4 sacks and 2 turnovers. 2 turnovers and 4 sacks.
correct?
That's
Yeah,
how you win in January. This is
and
how you win
especially,
in January.
yeah, they play playoff ball. If you look at the Ravens, they play
100%.
playoff football. Their game is the type of game that wins in January. So
Can this be? So let me ask you this: can Edwards and Mitchell, their backfield, can this Ravens backfield lead them to a deep playoff run this season? Adam, would you say that it is possible?
it's a combination of a lot of things. It's a
Right.
combination of a lot of things. They've got good running game. Even with Justice Hill, being in the mix there as well, he offers a different component when it comes to that running game. But then you also add in Lamar Jackson. Don't forget, he is part of that running scheme, whether or not we like it or not, whether or not in January, he's going to be needed. His legs are going to be needed to open up things for that offense. Whether that's just stretching a play or whether that's actually designed runs for Lamar Jackson, he's going to be a part of what they do on a strategy base when it comes to the playoffs. So yes, that entire run game and that defense, yes, can take them for a deep run, and absolutely, they're built for January. They're built for January. Everything that I'm looking at, they're built for January. They got a big tight end, Mark Andrews.
Andrews,
That man is
monster,
built. That
Pro
man is
Bowl.
built for. He's built for January. So, you asked me in the previous segment whether or not there was a possibility that it might not go through Arrowhead, or whether it was going to go through Arrowhead. It might just go through Baltimore, my friend. It might just
I'm
go through
100% correct. You trust? I trust John Harbaugh. By the way, I think he's for me phenomenal. He's a top 5 coach. Are
Yeah,
you okay with that? With this take?
yeah, he's the
He's
Harbaugh.
top five. He's top 5.
Yeah, he's the Harbaugh brother who doesn't steal signs.
We're gonna get to that, audience.
All
We're
right,
gonna
no,
get to
yeah,
subscriber. Please,
yeah.
please, guys, if you're liking so far what you're hearing, please say put a click on the thumbs up, and please
Hit us up, hit
subscribe
us
to the
up.
channel, please.
Yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like. Y'all rock with y'all boys. Yes, I believe in John Harbaugh. He's done a great job ever since he's gotten to Baltimore. His ability to adapt to new league rules and the way things change throughout the league year after year, season after season. He's shown himself to be able to adapt very well. And when it comes to coaching, when it comes to offense, when it comes to special teams, when it comes to defense, man, the Baltimore Ravens, they check the boxes, brother. They check all those boxes.
I love their front office because I love the way that they drafted Flacco. They were with him for a couple of years. They let him go. They drafted Lamar Jackson. They traded up actually to draft Lamar Jackson. And as of right now, some scout out there in Baltimore saw something good. Now, don't get me wrong; he was very good at
Oh
Louisville.
no, absolutely.
So he would run the ball often in Louisville, but I never thought that he was going to get this good. But I'm telling you, it's all about coaching. You need to get your OC and your DC and your quarterbacks coach because they also count. You know, they need to be all on the same page, and they have brought the best out of Lamar Jackson. He got paid, and guess what? He's going to work every Sunday like this year. He has been going to work every Sunday. And Matt Prosper, Lamar Jackson, I'm a very, very big fan. Very big fan.
No, and I agree with that completely. He was supposed to go in the first round. He slipped all the way to the end of the first round, and the Ravens made a move, and they said, we got to go up and get this guy. We don't want to wait until day 2 of the draft to go in here and get him. So they moved up, and in all honesty, the rest is history. And truly, it may have been a move that saved their franchise. So
It sure saved John Harbaugh and the GM 100%, my friend,
yeah,
for the unemployment line.
it saved their job. And also kudos to the front office as well for not allowing that Lamar. They let it go last year, but they didn't let it carry on too much with this contract. You know, they didn't have him come into another season talking about that contract stuff. So they got him inked in for, I'm not sure, I forget what it is, 4 or 5 years.
They gave him that 5-year contract. Yeah,
but they got him locked in for the future, and
that's for sure.
And that's a smart move. They did the right thing. So yeah, any other comments or anything else you want to touch on before we move on?
I think we're good when it comes to these two teams. I think we are good. Let's move on to the next topic. What we got next?
So
Coming
moving
up.
on, ladies and gentlemen. NBA's most dynamic duo. Now, we told y'all we was going to be giving it to you 50-50, just like you see me and my boy Split on the screen. We're going to give it to you 50-50. We're going basketball, football. We running the Wildcat offense here. So when it comes to that most dynamic duo, now I understand it is early in the season. So we don't have a very big sample size. So we're going to be feeding off a little bit of what we saw last year, a little bit. What you got?
Okay, you know me, Adam, going back to our 30 years of friendship. You know I like championships. And I like players that step up when the lights shine bright. When the lights shine bright. So I'm gonna say the Joker and I'm gonna say Murray. Because this cat, for me, Jokic is the best player today in the NBA based on what he has done the past couple of seasons. He has gained league MVPs. He has gained finals MVP. I don't know what else can you say about the man. That guy shows up every single night in the NBA, and he sure showed up in the NBA finals. He can pass the ball. He can rebound the ball. He can shoot it from anywhere outside of the court. Anywhere he can shoot the ball. The guy is a great big man. One of the best big men that I have ever seen in my lifetime. He can pass. Drive in. He could post up. He has the whole repertoire. Murray, I like Murray. Like I need to like Murray because Murray for me is like playoff Jimmy in the finals. Like Murray shows up in the playoffs. He averages like between 16 and 18 points during the season. But again, I care about tips. I care about playoffs. What have you done for me in the playoffs? Can you come to work every single night in the playoffs? Murray fits the bill. These two cats fit the bill, in my opinion. What do you have to say? Who do you like? Talk to me.
I
It's
can't
hard.
lie.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
I can't lie. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. They jumped off the season undefeated after winning the championship. Joker looks like he's just unstoppable. He looks like he's playing with a bunch of kids out there. In all honesty, the way that he does these turnaround hook shots, and it's just so fluid. It looks so smooth. It's seamless. Um, it's like every time he puts the ball up towards the basket, you feel like it's going to go in, and it doesn't
Correct.
look. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look
Correct.
beautiful. It doesn't look um, aesthetically. It's not pleasing to the eye. But you know it's
Yeah.
always pleasing to the eye when you see the ball go through the basket. That's always a very nice thing to see, especially if that's your team or if that's your player, and he does that for you. The 3-point shot doesn't look good. It goes in. It goes in. He cocks it
I'm gonna
back
tell
from
you
the back
something.
of
He
his
ain't
head.
a beautiful shooter. He ain't a beautiful shooter, but guess what? He can make it.
He brings it from back here,
Yeah.
from the back of his head, and the ball goes in every single
Correct.
time. Um, it's hard to deny those two. And Jamal Murray just showed that he was a junkyard dog as well. You know, when it comes to that playoffs, he's nothing. He's nothing to turn your nose up at. This man, when he comes to play and when he's healthy, he is truly one of the best in the
Yeah.
league at his
Yeah.
position. There's not very
Yeah.
many people that are going to line up against him and put up much of a fight. The kid is that damn good. But I will say this:
Who do you got as your second one? Let's just say
I,
this. Who do you
I,
have as your
I'm
second
gonna,
one?
I'm gonna I'm gonna go with a potential dynamic duo: Giannis Antetokounmpo and Mr.
Damian Lillard.
Dame Time. Now, I
Ah.
understand it's still early. It's still early in the season. There's going to be some meshing that has to go on. But if those two can mesh together, I'll tell you this: they're going to be something that nobody wants to see on their schedule. When it comes
Yeah.
to the dominance of Antetokounmpo and the IQ and scoring ability of Damian Lillard, that's a lot on anybody's plate on any given night. Add in, they didn't really give up much to get Damian Lillard.
That's correct.
I
Yes.
think they
Yeah.
gave up a bag of Ruffles and
And Drew Holiday, basically.
and a pack of bubble yum or something like that. It wasn't much, and it wasn't anything that was going to affect their team chemistry because you were getting a player of Damian Lillard's caliber. So I know he's getting up there in age. The man averaged 32 points a game last year. The man, that's why Pat Riley was trying to push so hard to go out there and get the man. You know what I mean? That's why Bam and Jimmy were with pom poms all season. They were kicking their legs up high and everything. They were trying.
That's correct.
They were
Yeah.
cheerleading big time because they understand what a player like Damian Lillard can bring to an organization. So I'm going to tell you this right now: if those two gel, if they can get their act together, and a couple of other things, the only reason why I put them short of the Joker and um, and Jamal Murray is because they don't make mistakes. They don't
That's
make
correct.
mistakes. Antetokounmpo, this man can have 7 turnovers in the game. You can't have that. Free throw shooting. He has trouble. He struggles at the free throw. If he could clean those things up,
That's correct.
Antetokounmpo might be the biggest force we've ever seen in this league, at least in the time in this short time frame, or at least of this generation. But when you talk about Joker, the dude goes up there and just nails free throws. Just nails free throws. He's got that crisp passing. It's almost like a 7-foot Johnson out there, and he doesn't turn the ball over. This dude is almost
Yeah.
mistake free every single game. He stacks the stat lines, but he doesn't stack them in the bad categories. So I'm going to say that if those two can gel together, they're going to be something to mess with. But I have to agree with you. Overall, right now, nobody's touching the
Yeah.
Joker.
And as my second one, and why I put him behind, just a little tab behind that Joker and a Murray. I gotta pick Durant and Booker. These are
Oh yeah,
two great shooters, and the only reason why I don't pick your combination of players is because Giannis lacks the outside shot, and in this NBA today, you need to have an outside shot. This is why Curry is where he's at and going to the Hall of Fame pretty soon when he retires. He's going to be a first ballot head first. Is because he is the greatest shooter this NBA has ever seen. And this is why I have Booker and I have Durant. I think in the second year together, they will do better in the West as an overall combination. That's pending if Durant stays hopefully healthy throughout the season, because you know that he has been a little bit nicked up the past couple of seasons, and that's the reason why I'm a little bit afraid. But when these two dynamic shooters are playing together, they could easily average 50 points combined to 55 combined on any given night that there is. They could easily average
Hey,
55 points.
listen, I agree with that, but you have to understand, Damian Lillard's, you know what I mean? He's a 3-point shooter.
Correct.
My
That's
thing, my
correct.
thing is that okay, you say that the 3-point shooting is a lack, but there's a dominance in the paint that happens there as well. Like both of them don't have to be good from outside. Now I
But the
understand.
thing is, remember this. Remember this, Adam. They could always scheme against you in the paint. They could put the wall. Remember this. When the Heat went to the finals in the bubble, guess who they played doing the playoffs to get to where they were in the bubble? They played Milwaukee. And
Correct.
Eric Spoelstra had the perfect scheme in place to stop Giannis. Remember that they would put like the wall, boom, together. Like every time that he would drive, they would collapse the paint. Now, if your shot is going in, if your shot is going in like the Joker
Now you
has
say
been
a
throughout the
great thing.
years,
Now you say a great thing. If your shot is going in, if your
yeah,
shot is
that's
going in, you
correct.
have to
Yeah,
understand those are lower percentage points, and you don't want a team that's just shooting from the outside. You need a team that's going to be able to go in there and get some fouls, get some people over on the bench and sitting
Giannis
down.
is great
Uh,
at creating that.
Giannis is gonna offer you that.
Yeah,
Now I don't knock your second choice. I understand. KD, come on now. You know what I mean? The Slim Reaper. We kidding? You know what I mean? This dude is probably one of the best offensive scorers that we've ever seen, even at his size. Devin Booker, a up and coming star. If he's not already out of the stratosphere, he's definitely on his way. So when it comes to both of those guys, I have no knock on them either. I just think that when it comes to also playing in the East, you're going to see Dame and you're going to see Giannis have a little bit easier of a path to just beat up on people because the East really, in my opinion,
it's a
isn't
little
that
bit weak.
strong.
It's a little bit weak.
They're going to be
It's
going
weak.
through a lot of people in the West, and there's going to be a lot of size. You got Wimby now over there doing this thing and all sorts of stuff. So I don't knock that at all. I don't knock that at all. And just real quick on the side note, what do you think about James Harden in LA?
Okay, the only reason why I like James Harden in LA, I'm gonna tell you why. He doesn't get he's not injury prone like the other two guys are. Paul
Correct.
George and the other man, which I'm gonna get to eventually in our show here in our town. He's gonna bring you points. Like last year, he led the league in assists, which I like that. He was more. James Harden is not the guy that you're gonna get with the Rockets. Forget about that. Those days are over. James Harden will be the point guard on this team. I'm not sure about what they're going to do about Westbrook. I think he might go to the bench. I think he needs to go to the bench because James Harden is a better shooter. We don't have to say about the shooting because we know hands down. And I think for sure when Kawhi Leonard takes his rest, you're going to have now James Harden to take the burden off of Paul George
You say
Russell
you say
Westbrook.
you say his rest.
His rest. I like to say his rest because that guy likes to take his rest. I have never seen a guy in the NBA that he loves to take rest, maintenance, and for what? You got hurt in the playoffs. Like I never understood that. You took rest during the season leading up to the playoffs, and yet you get hurt in the first round of the playoffs against Phoenix. So what happened? I never understood that. I never understood that. What do you think? What is your take on this one?
I think that's hilarious. I'm going to leave it there because I know that we're going to have our opportunity to go into
Yeah,
Kawhi at some point on Club
at some point.
54. But I always love your take on Kawhi. and his low maintenance.
Low maintenance
Oh man,
for the audience.
yo, that is too funny. So at this point, we are gonna go ahead and we got Cowboys, we got Eagles.
Oh,
We got Cowboys, we got Eagles. Now this was a close game. This was a close game. This took
yeah, a close game. Yes.
this took place in the Link. You know what I mean? They were out there in the Link in Philly, and Eagles were able to come out ahead 28-23. What do you think? What'd you see in the game?
I actually like what that did in this game. To be honest with you, I think that played it good. He played sound, free, mistake football. He had three scores, three touchdown passes with 300 yards along the way to go with that. Those are very good numbers to be honest with you. The only thing that I would have liked for the Cowboys is to run more in this game. And I blame that again on Mike McCarthy, but I'm gonna get to him later. You know, um, what can I say? Like leading up to the fourth quarter, like Dak Prescott had 153 yards passing. Like he was just driving down the field in the fourth quarter. I mean, he was doing his thing. But what I don't get is situational football with the Cowboys always comes to hurt the Cowboys. It's called situational football. They're very undisciplined. It's the penalties. How in the world do you drive to the 6 yard line, to the opponent's 6 yard line, when the game is about to get close? When Europe is about to, you gotta close out the game. This is to close out the game. There's no excuse here. You had the chance to win. Now, I want to say this. I thought that touchdown in the end zone, I think that was a touchdown in my opinion. It didn't get you guys. It wasn't a touchdown for me. That okay? So you guys drive to the 6 yard line. What happens next is unacceptable. You take a penalty. You take a sack. This is called situational football. Situational football for the audience. You need to be aware if you're the quarterback, Dak Prescott. You need to be aware of the situation that you are. You need to be aware. And then on one of those passes, he missed Shoemaker, that tight end. That tight end was super open in the middle of the field in the slant. If he throws it straight, it's a touchdown. No, this man throws a low percentage shot, which it was he throws it incomplete, and I was like, is it me or he just missed that tight end wide open in the middle? And these are important reads that he does not make when it's time to win the ball game. He did great, 300 yards, three TDs, and by the way, I have one thing about to say about the Cowboys that has hurt them that has hurt them this past season that I'm going to ask you eventually to take over. The Cowboys are ranked 29th in red zone efficiencies compared to last year. They were number one. Is this a Mike McCarthy stuff or this a Kellen Moore thing? I'm going to say it's Mike McCarthy, in my opinion. I think it's Mike McCarthy. And by the way, Cook had one catch for 7 yards. Now, I never understood why you went and got him in free agency when you're only going to use them on goal routes. There's something called bubble screens that you can use it for motions in the back, how McDaniels likes to use Tyreek Hill. I don't understand his play calling. Sometimes you need to get this man the ball. It's not. I don't have no complaints about CeeDee Lamb. He had a humongous game, monster game he had. But guess what? Cook he gains 1,000 yards on every team. Cook has gained 1,000 yards on every team except for the Cowboys. He's not going to make it this year. Not going to make it. What do you think about this? What do you think?
It's just the Cowboys being the Cowboys, my bro. It's just the Cowboys being the Cowboys. Um, once they got down to the 6 yard line, uh, again, you just know that it's just not going to be a fairy tale ending. It looks great. It
I was
seems like
hoping to be for this year
seems
for
like
it to be.
everybody's got their hopes up. You get hit with a false start penalty. Then Dak takes a sack. Now you have to understand, you talk about situational football. You're that close to the end zone. It's not very typical that the referees will call a intentional grounding for you throwing the ball out of the back of the end zone because you can just say that you overthrew the receiver. You cannot take a sack in that situation. You have to know that you are close to the back of the end zone, find a receiver in the vicinity, and throw it over his head. That
Correct.
avoids the grounding penalty. That avoids a negative play. Dak, in the biggest moments, takes
Falters.
negative plays. That's what he does. Now, I'm watching the game, and in my mind, I'm like, he's not going to be giving a post-game winning interview. It's just who I know Dak to be. He's not the guy on the field doing the post-game winning interviews. He's the guy at the podium near the locker room saying, "Oh, well, we can get better at this and that." That's who he is. He's the guy who does the podium interviews, not the guy who does the interviews on the field. He's just not that guy. And I understand this is not me putting this on Dak. It's not me, like you stated. Dak had a phenomenal game. He played a great game. He
Till
just
that moment.
can't win when it calls for winning football. That's it. He's the guy at the podium. He's the guy at the podium. Jalen Hurts is the guy on the field talking to the reporters after the game, saying this is why we won and giving kudos to his team because he put them on his back and got them over the hump.
Now, let me tell you this. So I think there's another little tweak that I took notes on. Also, where the Cowboys lost the game is that they got outscored 14-0 in the third quarter. Now, let me ask you this. Micah Parsons had 1.5 sacks in this game. Do you think that he needs help from someone else to carry also a little bit of that load? Because they're gonna. This is the NFL. They're gonna scheme against you. They're gonna double team you and chip you. Do you think that the Cowboys need an extra person to bring the heat, or it will be welcome on a big stage game like this that you might see them again in the playoffs or at home in a couple of weeks coming up?
Well, I think that we have other. I think we have other guys. You know, what I mean, they have
Right.
other guys on that line who can. Who the defense is not the problem. I can tell you that. And Micah doesn't necessarily need help because Micah moves all around. He can go wherever he wants, which is the reason why against the Washington Redskins, why they kept going against. Why he kept on going against their left tackle. I don't understand. You know, what I mean, you can move wherever you want, and you can create advantages and mismatches wherever you want. In all honesty, I think that this still boils down to Mike McCarthy. You stated it earlier. There's just no creativity in his offense. And he said that he took a year off to go and, kind of, make himself better. Well, he needs to take another year off. He might need to take a decade off because the dude, you took the year off and the schemes that you run are still very vanilla. Like you stated, Brandon Cooks. This man, you can put the ball in his hands in so many different ways. Screens, jet sweeps. You can do a plethora of different things to try to get the ball in his hands, out of Dak Prescott's hands, so that he can make plays for you. Maybe they're not always the home run play. Maybe they're just 4 or 5 yard plays. But the man has shown himself capable of helping teams. Again, just to piggyback off what you stated, 1,000 yards every single year. Why he's
on every team,
he has for a guy who hits the 1,000-yard mark and has been traded 3 or 4 times. I don't understand why. And he seems like a good teammate. He seems like a good guy in the locker room. Why he's been traded so much, I'm not sure. But why the Cowboys are unable to get him to that 1,000-yard mark and help him or put him in the position where he can help this team get wins, it's a Mike McCarthy issue. Kellen Moore is a young man who, he calls a good play. But I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the second coming of, Mike Shanahan or anything like that. It all boils down to head coaching and it's something that the Cowboys have had an issue with for a very long time because Mr. Jerry Jones likes to put these pawns in coaching positions because he can puppet them around and pull strings
That's a
whenever.
fact. That's a fact, Adam. That's a fact. That's a fact. He likes to hire coaches that they are yes men. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whatever you want, sir, it's all yours, sir. No, it can't be
Jerry
like
wants to coach the team. Let's just be honest.
that.
That's why
Basically, yes.
that's why he does post game news conferences. No other owner does that. No other
No,
owner does
no.
that. He's the only one who wants to have a post game, like you on the field or something, like you had anything to do with the game. I want to see Jerry Jones in the skybox in the owner's suite with some headphones on. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need. I just want to see him up there with headphones, listening to the offensive coordinator and to Mike McCarthy and to everybody, putting in his, hey, yeah, I think you should run the ball. Like, come on, Jerry. Come on, Jerry. Always on the field. Always on the field, Jerry. Stay in the owner's suite, man. Stay on the owner's suite. Get
Don't
comfortable.
worry. Those days are going to come where that he's going to go back to his skybox, and then Steve Jobs will run the operations. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, but I'll tell you that's definitely a coaching issue. Again, I don't think that Dak is really the guy to take them to the next level. I just don't think that he has that winning pedigree. I think he's a great guy, but certain guys just have winning built in their DNA, and other guys are just really good players, but not built for the moments that it takes to get you to the next level.
Yes,
Unfortunately,
that's correct.
that's Dak for us. But yeah, so what we got now? We got these Bills versus the
The
Bengals
Bengals.
Monday Night Showdown.
Wow, whoa. Uh, I am extremely disappointed with Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills.
Really?
Extremely disappointed. They ran for 24 total yards in this game, but 24 by a running back by James Cook. It seemed like this team didn't even bother to even sniff around during the trade deadline to find themselves a bruiser back is what they need to play in the cold weather in January. It's amazing how this is a cold team
A cold
and
weather
they
team,
don't
yeah.
have a bruiser back. They do not have a bruiser back. I think their offense of play calling is horrendously horrible. I think Dorsey has not done a good job with this man. This man is a turnover waiting to happen. He's a turnover waiting to happen. The Bengals got his number. The
Yep.
Bengals got his number. They got his number. Gabe Davis for me is not a true number two receiver. He has 0 catches for 0 yards. 0 for 0.
Can't have that.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. This is I am so disappointed. I think for me, in my opinion, Sean McDermott has hit his ceiling for me as a head coach. That is as far as you're gonna get the Buffalo Bills. One playoff game in January, and guess what? When you bump into the same Bengals, they're gonna do a demolition job on you. And if you bump up to the Baltimore Ravens, let's not even go there. It's going to be a bloodbath. The only team that they might have a little chance to beat is the Jaguars if they play against the Jaguars in the playoffs. But anybody else, the
And
Bengals got the numbers.
and even there, I don't know if that's the case because the one thing that you mentioned was the fact that they lack balance on that offense. And the
Horrible
Jacksonville
balance.
Jaguars have very good balance when it comes to Etienne and
Oh yeah,
Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? I think that this ultimately boils down to a Josh Allen thing. I'm not sure if it's Sean McDermott, but I know it's Josh Allen. I
they
know
want to feature him.
I know that the Bills are only going to go as far as Josh Allen takes them. And there's games where he looks like he could be the league MVP. And then there's games where he looks like he should be benched because he's playing so awful. He's playing hero ball. He wants to,
Of course,
he wants to drop his shoulder, and it's for no reason besides from what I'm seeing, just it's pure pride and ego sometimes. And I'm just like, dude, you need to run this offense. We understand that when the time calls for it, you can get them those third down and shorts. You know what I mean? Because you're that big quarterback, but you don't have to. You don't have to just keep throwing your body around. He led the team with 44 rushing yards. What?
Your running back out of a running back position. Let me tell you this. When I saw that both teams, they one drove down and they score. The Bills drove down. I'm like, oh, we are gonna get a nice little dandy Sunday night game. It wasn't like that. Adam, can you believe the Bills went five times in the game where they didn't even run 4 plays? They ran 3 to 4 plays, punt. Two to like they never ran more than five
Well,
plays.
well, I can believe it because the time of possession tells me that. See, the men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The numbers tell me everything. I don't even have to watch the game. 36 minutes of time of possession for the Bengals, 23 minutes for the Buffalo Bills. That tells me that there's a lot of 3-and-outs there.
A lot of 3-and-outs. A lot of 3-and-outs.
Unless you got 50 points on the board and you tell me that you've been striking with 1 or 2 plays where you're hitting these long bombs, 23 minutes of time of possession means that you have been having quite a few 3-and-outs. And that's exactly what they had. They have to get balance on this team. There's no balance.
And going back to Sean McDermott, like you saw that this team did a demolition job in your home turf in the playoffs. And it was snowing. It was snowing. And this team, and you couldn't even tell your GM, hey, you know what? We need to go and get a running back because we are going to play some of these teams in the playoffs in January. I need a bruiser back. To play behind Josh Allen because we need to run the ball coming up now. Like it's about to get cold soon in North in Orchard Park, New York, and I cannot believe that this man Dalvin Cook. You also had Dalvin Cook. Okay, let's say if Tennessee was not willing to trade Derrick Henry, why not reach out to the Jets who are not using, by the way, Dalvin Cook and inquire just an inquiry. Hey, are you willing to trade him for, let's say, a 4th-round pick?
Hey, and his brother's there. You know, you got
And his
James
brother is there. James Cook is there. Like,
So
and that would have been a nice little 1-2 punch. This is why I think that Sean McDermott has reached his ceiling as a head coach. We're not going to see better than him. And I think Ken Dorsey, for me, is not a good offensive coordinator. Oh, let's feature Josh Allen. Well, you featuring Josh Allen has not worked for you. He has not worked for you. You're one game above 500. You let me know if it has worked for you. Now, if you was like 7-2, your record was 7-2. I'm like, okay, I'm backing away. Whatever your formula is working. But this formula here in Buffalo and the way that they're running their offense is not working. Now, mind you, they do have some injuries. They got Tre'Davious White is out for the year, which that was a humongous loss for this team. And you also lost Matt Milano. But I don't have no complaints against the defense. The
no, the
defense
defense, the
is
defense is
decent.
fine.
But when you have a quarterback that likes to say, I'm Superman, it's a turnover waiting to happen.
Correct.
These people in the NFL, these defenders, these DCs, these defense of coordinators, they watch film just like you, dude. They watch film. So you need to find a way to scheme, especially Gabe Davis has to be scheming open. I mean, that guy cannot get open, not even if his life depended on. I mean, like, you tell me who the Bengals, their corners that this happened to Gabe Davis. I don't know who they are. They're okay corners. They know not like Sauce Gardner. They know Jalen Ramsey. You know.
I think that I think again, I'm going to lean back towards Josh Allen. I don't think that it's necessarily anything that Gabe Davis can do differently. I think that the approach for Josh Allen needs to be different, and he really needs to take a more open-minded. I think sometimes he just checks away from the runs a lot of times, or he doesn't check down to the runs, because if you're a quarterback and you see that they're in a pass defense, you can always check down to a run. How often is he checking down to a run and saying, hey, you know what? Audible, let's let's run the ball. Let's get 3 or 4 yards here. Or is he just not seeing it? Is he not seeing that they're in the pass defense? Or does he just want to throw the ball every down? These are the questions that you have to ask whether or not Josh Allen is the guy. Just a few stats real quick. Bengals, 0 fumbles lost. Bengals, 0 interceptions. The Buffalo Bills had 1 fumble loss, which was a huge one by Kincaid, where he got flipped upside down and they were actually headed down into where they were already in Bengal territory and heading down on a good scoring chance. And then you have an interception by Josh Allen.
Poor decision, by the way.
You got zeros on the other side. When the other team is not turning the ball over and they possess the ball nearly 36 minutes and you only, or over 36 minutes, and you only possess the ball 23 minutes and change, that's a recipe for losing. You can't turn the ball over. You can't lose the time of possession. They did both against a pretty good Cincinnati Bengals team who's turned it on and are getting hot at the right time. That's a recipe for a loss.
Joe Burrow, man, he doesn't play. Joe Burrow, he's ready. Trust me. For November and December, he's ready. He's coming. He's coming.
So your NBA Finals predictions. Again, we're in the NBA's infancy when it comes to the league right now. I know it's early, but we just wanted to drop our picks for possible NBA Finals. Now, I don't know if you said that you wanted to do a list or whether or not you were just going to pick your favorites to make the finals this year. What you got?
Okay, I'm gonna predict who's gonna be in the NBA Finals. I'm gonna pick for Denver to go back again to the NBA Finals, and I have the Celtics because with the acquisition of Porzingis, I think if Porzingis stays healthy throughout the year, he averages at least 18 points a game. He's gonna bring you at least 18 points a game. I like Jaylen Brown, and I like Tatum. I think Tatum has played pretty decent in the playoffs in the past couple of years. That's the only reason why, and I think Boston is a little bit deeper than Milwaukee. The thing is that I don't know. I was gonna pick Milwaukee and Dame. I just do not know if Middleton can hold up because he has been a little bit naked up the past couple of seasons. Like, you get me, Adam? I don't trust Milwaukee right now. Like, I trust more the combination of Tatum and Brown because they're more durable when it comes to like an NBA long season of 82 games than Middleton, Dame, and Giannis. Giannis is pretty durable, but remember, Damian Lillard also got injured last year too, and he was out. Middleton also got injured last year, and this is why I cannot pick Milwaukee. And the Heat, again, they went to the NBA Finals, but I just do not see them repeating again. I just don't see it. Who do you think is going to reach the NBA Finals, my friend?
I agree with you in the West. Right now, again, I don't see anybody touching the Joker. The dude makes the game look too easy. I don't know how he does it, but he just makes the game look too easy. But I'm going to throw you a screwball here.
Okay.
I got the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh my. Can I ask you why?
I see a lot of I see it. It's just hard on that team. I say that the reason why Boston's not going to make it, they're like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz, brother. They got no heart. They got no heart.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
When it all comes down to it, they just don't have the fortitude that they don't have that dog. I don't see. Jaylen Brown might be the closest to what I would consider somebody who says, hey, if I got to throw the team on my back, I got this. Yeah. But I like Tyrese Maxey. He reminds me a lot of a younger Dwayne Wade.
Oh, okay.
It's that kind of heart. Nobody expecting you to be there. Nobody being on nobody's radar but your own. I think that the 76ers have a really good chance to make it to the NBA Finals. I think Embiid's sick and tired. I really do.
I mean, I will be too, man. I mean, so many years You get bounced like in the first or second round.
No, but I also think that he's just sick and tired of just not being mentioned, with the Jokers and with the Giannis Antetokounmbos, you know what I mean? Like, people forget about Embiid sometimes. And I think that he's to the point where he wants to let the league know that he's here to stay and that he's arrived. Just another little tidbit. The 76ers beat the Celtics tonight, 106-103.
Oh, okay, okay,
And
all right, all right, all
I was
right.
just checking it on my phone just to make sure that I was worthy of making this this hot take. I'm gonna just call
It
this a
is a
hot
hot
take.
take, but you know what? You know what, Adam? Anything can happen. Injuries happen. It's a long season. We don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I am right.
I,
But
I'm
one thing for sure that me and you agree on is the Denver Nuggets are the best team in the West.
I,
That's for sure. Hands
I,
down.
absolutely, without a doubt. And I'll tell you what else. I think that they're also happy that they got the weight off of their shoulder that was James Harden being there. So now they can
Yeah.
focus on basketball. I think that last year that was a little bit of an issue, and it was something that was constant conversations with regards to James Harden, in my opinion, just being, a cancer everywhere he goes. And I'm not saying that he's a bad person, but it seems like every locker room that he goes to, there's turmoil that surely follows.
Yes, sir.
So I think that they can get back to basketball when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. We can start talking about basketball again. And I think Joel Embiid is ready to make that happen. I think Tyrese Maxey is turning into that player that everybody expects him to be. And that's the reason why they wouldn't let him go to Portland for Dame, because they understood that they had an ascending star. And I think Tyrese Maxey appreciates that, and he's going to show out this year. So we'll see
All
how it
right, man.
goes.
Hopefully that happens. Hopefully.
All right. So next segment, we got what's on your mind. Again, ladies and gentlemen out there, make sure that you hit that like. Make sure that you hit that subscribe. We are gonna be here. We're gonna be here every single week. Get used to it. We're out here. Please leave any comments, anything that we say that you may agree or disagree on. Let us know what you think. But
Yes,
this
please.
segment right here is about what's on your mind, man. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what's on my mind. So basically, I think the Giants are going to have a top pick in this year's. I mean, in next year's NFL draft. I think they should cut bait with Danny Jones. Cut bait. I mean, have him for one more year, in my opinion. But I think the crop of quarterbacks that are coming out this year with Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Michael Penix, which I love. That I love Caleb Williams and Michael Penix. Penix is a beast, great lefty quarterback. I think they have a higher ceiling than Daniel Jones, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of Danny Jones the benefit of the fact that they never surrounded him with a good wide receiver this past off season. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But let's forget that the Giants won 8 games last year by one possession. And guess what? That doesn't happen every year in the NFL. You're going to regress back to the mean. And that is what has happened to the Giants. They have regressed back to the mean. I'm going to tell you something. We could talk a little bit about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson didn't have great receivers, and he still was making the playoffs. True or false? I
This is
think
true.
that New York Giants owed 46 mil
But
to
but,
this
let, but
man.
let's not compare Daniel Jones to Lamar Jackson. We
No, of,
understand
of, of
the
course not. But
15 round
okay.
that.
So you know what? Let's compare him to C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud that just hit 470 yards. Who is his receivers? I want to hear who they are. Bunch of no ones, and they hit. He hit almost for 500
Well,
yards.
not nobodies, but they are young receivers. You got
They're young
Nico
receivers,
Collins, you got Tank
but
Dell.
they're not named receivers like
Sure,
a
not yet.
Tyreek Hill, like a Justin Jefferson. But let's say we're back to Danny Jones and the Giants. I think they should cut bait. I think it's time
Well, they just
for
paid the
them.
man the contract.
But they don't. But that contract, they only owe him like 46 mil for next season, and they could get out of out of the contract. I think, do you have three top quarterbacks coming out, Adam? You're gonna stay with this dude that is a pedestrian quarterback? And mind you, let's remember this also. Barkley had a great season last year too, rushing the ball. Don't you think that helped out
Ha-
Danny Jones?
have they paid Saquon? No, right? They
No,
have,
they haven't paid him.
but they paid Daniel.
Where the Giants made a big mistake here was that instead of paying Barkley and franchising Danny Jones, which I would have done that, I would have paid Barkley, franchise Danny Dimes. I want to see what can you give me? Can you give me another year how you had last year? And that didn't happen. That didn't happen. For in my opinion, you got Drake May, Caleb Williams, and you got Michael Penix. You need to go and draft one of them. If you get a top five pick, which they are on their way, because they're going to start a backup quarterback for the rest of the year.
DeVito. DeVito.
DeVito, you tell me. You tell me. So they are going to
That's
get
Danny
a top five
DeVito's
pick.
son. That's Danny
Huh?
DeVito's son.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
know.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's not a real take. That's not a real take. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito and twins. But yeah, that's definitely a good take right there. If they don't make that move, they might be in a long term issue, a long term turmoil. If they don't land on these quarterbacks, I agree with you. Just because you don't get a class of quarterbacks like this all the time as well, so you gotta grab one when you get the opportunity. Daniel Dimes, he's not the future of the New York Giants. By no
I
way.
think they Gettleman he reached for him. He reached for him in that draft. And I don't know what he saw, because when I saw him play in college, he never opened my eyes. I never was like, wow, look what he can do on the field. That never happened to me. I was with my mouth open when they announced his name that day on draft night. I was like, oh my God. That I had Giants fans, like coworkers, like Giants fans, that were texting me, what in the world is this team doing? What are they doing?
I agree. I agree with that. Like I said, I don't see a long term future there. He was a prom date, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Good for one night, a short period of time, and it's going to be time for him to go sooner or later. He just doesn't show what I feel a quarterback needs to show to be successful in this league in today's game. Something that's on my mind real quick. McDaniels, can we just not ever give him a head coaching job again? Can we be done with Josh McDaniels? Can we be done with him forever? Just forever. I want you to go back to your nest. I want you to go back to your nest in New England and just stay there as long as Bill Belichick is there. Josh McDaniels.
He will be employed in New England for
Correct.
sure.
Correct. Josh McDaniels, stay where it's safe, friend. If you're hearing this, stay where it's safe. You've done a really good job in New England. Stay there. Don't go anywhere else. The world is a cold place everywhere else for you. Stay in New England. Do yourself a favor. Stop trying to be a leader of men and a leader of a locker room, because this is twice that you've been fired midseason. I don't want to see you embarrass yourself anymore. Okay, it's humiliating. Just
And it's mistakes that he makes, because I'm going to remind the audience here that when he went to Denver, he only lasted a year and a half on the job. And I'm going to tell you the big mistake. Well, it wasn't. I mean, it was okay if you want to say it, but you trade away Jay Cutler, which at that time he was an okay quarterback. I want to say he was okay, for Kyle Orton. For Kyle, you trade a Jay Cutler for a Kyle. Listen to me, audience. Listen to this one. You trade Jay Cutler for Kyle Owen. Let's see how that went. You got yourself fired in a year and a half for making these types of decisions. Again, in his second stop with the Raiders, you let go of a playoff quarterback in Derek Carr, which Derek Carr for me has performed okay this season, but you let a playoff quarterback walk out the door for who? For who? Jimmy Garoppolo, a
Now,
guy that had a guy that had a top five defense in San Francisco and had a Kyle Shanahan scheme, which Kyle Shanahan can put basically anybody back there at quarterback, and they could be decent. They could be decent, not great, but decent quarterback,
now,
decent
not to mention, Manny, you got one of the best receivers in the league who went to your organization
for Derek Carr.
to go play with this guy. I don't care whether or not Derek Carr led the league in interceptions. Unless Devontae Adams says he needs to go, he stays. You got to keep this guy happy. You got to keep this guy happy. And to get rid of his best friend after one season of playing with him, when that was the reason why he chose Las Vegas to go to,
Correct.
was a huge error, because now you have a disgruntled wide
Wide
receiver.
receiver.
And that's not, you don't want a diva wide receiver. And I'm not saying that Devontae Adams was acting like a diva or anything like that, but when he's clearly unhappy, there's a problem. There's a problem, because at least he could work things out with his best friend and his college buddy. He doesn't even know Garoppolo. This is, you know what I mean? Like, this is a new quarterback, and he's playing worse than my best friend was playing. This dude is like throwing the ball. He can't hit me.
He's not basically they're not getting the Devontae the ball at all. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell this to the audience and to our future subscribers, please. I'll be very surprised if Devontae Adams comes back next season to the Raiders. I will be shocked. I'm saying it. I'm calling it on this channel, Club 50 Sports. By next offseason, the man will be gone because he's
I,
not going to he won't report. He won't report
I think
to
he
training
might.
camp,
I think he
mini camp.
might.
I mean, or like on the OTAs, the
I
OTAs.
think he might be a Jet. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he
Oh,
might
he
be
might
a
be a
Jet.
Jet.
I
He might
think
be
he
a
might.
Jet.
I think he might be a Jet. So who you got? We had a whole bunch of big performances this past week. There was a lot
Yeah.
of big performances. Who gets your game ball? Who you giving it to?
I'm gonna give my game ball to CJ Stroud. I'm proud of the young man. Almost have for almost have 500 yards. He led a drive to win with like less than a minute remaining on the clock. He led a drive and he had 5 touchdowns. I cannot say anything great about this man. This is, I think Carolina. Hopefully, I'm wrong about this. I think Carolina messed up by not drafting CJ Stroud. Word on the street and what I have read on articles is that David Tepper wanted Bryce Young, but the front office wanted CJ Stroud. And
That
guess
might
what?
that might cost him his job.
And guess whose front office is looking very beautiful today? The Houston Texans front office for drafting that man. That man, there is another guarantee for this year. He's going to be rookie of the year. Rookie of the year, mark it down. Rookie
Oh,
of the year.
but that's not a hot take. Let me just tell you right now. That's not a hot
Guarantee.
take.
Guarantee.
That's not a hot take. I definitely agree with that. I think that most anybody who even watches the sport definitely agrees with that. My game ball.
Let me
My
hear it.
game ball. My game ball goes to one Joshua Dobbs.
Oh, you know what?
This man,
Let me tell you something. I had him as my second choice.
this man was not only traded on Wednesday, arrived on Wednesday to Minnesota, didn't even know that he was going to suit up, didn't practice with the team whatsoever. Got placed in the game because the starter got hurt on the second series of the game. They were practicing the cadence on the sideline. The offensive line was circled around him on the sideline, practicing the cadence. Now, if you watch football, you understand how important the cadence is when it comes to any of you can't start the play. You cannot start the play if you don't know the cadence. That means you're gonna have people moving, jumping, jerking, all sorts of stuff, and that's 5 yards every time you do it. It's a 5 yard penalty every time you jerk, nudge, whatever.
Yeah.
This man was learning the cadence on the sideline. He goes into the game, gets sacked for a safety, throws an interception, and then in great fashion leads them to a victory by throwing. Again, the numbers weren't astronomical, but that's not what game balls are about. Game balls are
That's right.
about showing up in huge moments, and that's what Joshua Dobbs did. 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, 66 yards rushing, and a touchdown, and coming back to beat a team that he or with the team that he had no practice time with. All I'm saying is that's just phenomenal. This is the National Football
No,
League.
he did great.
This is not sandlot football. This is not just pickup football. This is the National Football League, and to go in there and beat it, and he didn't do it against any slouches. Now they're a middle of the pack Falcons team, but to come back and lead them to 31-28 victory, that's big time. You get the game ball. Much love to Joshua Dobbs after getting traded, which is crazy as well. So, you know what I mean?
Amazing.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that was a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster going from one team to another team, and then to lead them in this fashion, to lead them as a professional. Come on, man. That's a game ball right there.
That's a good one. That's a good one,
All
Adam. That's a good one. That's a good one.
right, all right. All right. So, real quick, I'm gonna let you do this one.
Okay.
Who are your top 5 teams? Now we understand this. We understand this. Top 5 teams for now. This is
Okay.
not going to be the same every week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yes.
stay
Yeah.
tuned
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
week.
guys. I want our subscribers to know that this is on a week-to-week basis. Our take. I mean, our top 5 teams that we think are going to be good going forward. The list will change every single week. I promise you guys. It's going to change
Based on what we see, this is our
based on
take on
what
what
we
we see.
see. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with my fifth best team right now in the NFL is the Detroit Lions.
Oh, we
Motown,
still got them up there. Okay.
stand up, Motown. I love Detroit. I like the team. Great defense. I like a lot Jared Goff this year. I actually have him on my fantasy league. He has done pretty good for me this year in fantasy. My fourth best team are the Jags. The Jags for me, again, they have a great team, great defense, very pretty good offense. They run the ball, which I'm a 90s guy. Me and Adam, we started to watch football in the early 1990s, and we have known that you have to run the ball in the NFL. The Jaguars and Detroit do that. 13, the Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are my third best team for this week. And my second best team are the Ravens. You already know why. I'm sold with Lamar Jackson. I'm sold with that defense only allowing 13 points again. And of course, my number one overall team are the Eagles. The Eagles for me are number one. They are, I think, for me, a completed roster from top to bottom, in my opinion. Who do you got, Adam?
I'm not.
Let me hear
I'm
your
not.
five.
I'm not going over my 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to beat up, at the very least. How dare you have the Eagles over the Ravens right now with the way that they're playing? They barely beat the Cowboys, who have been up and down, topsy turvy type team
I'm
all
gonna tell you
year
why.
long.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because the Eagles not only have Jalen Hurts, which I like over Lamar Jackson because he has been to a Super Bowl. We cannot say anything negative about that. He does have Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown has had a MVP caliber campaign this year. And I like the Eagles front four. I like the front four that they have. They got Jalen Carter, they got JJ Redick. I'm sorry, they got Redick, and they got Jesse Davis and Slade. the corner. I think they have more pieces on defense than the Baltimore Ravens. That's the only reason why I pick them. And don't get me wrong, they're also 8-1. They have only lost one game. You know, so we have to give them props. Like for this week, I have to give them. I have to show brotherly love some love.
to the
Gotta show them some
brotherly
love.
shove. But what I will say to you about that as well is you talk about them going to the Super Bowl, but they lost in the Super Bowl. Not to mention Lamar Jackson has been a league MVP in this league. So you're
Correct.
telling so
But
you
but don't forget that homie Hurts got injured last season. Had he not gotten injured, he was well on his way to get to winning the MVP too.
hey, listen, there's nothing I can say about injuries. Injuries happen. So
Ah,
at the
good,
end
yeah,
of the
it's
day,
true, it's true.
hey, we can chalk a lot of things up to
Yeah,
injuries. You know, I mean, there's a lot of players out there who could have been Hall of Famers. Sterling Sharp could have been a Hall of
yeah,
Famer with his brother
yeah. Had not been
Shannon.
for
But
injuries, yeah,
injuries take place; those things happen. What can you do? All I'm saying is that Lamar Jackson made it through an entire season healthy or semi-healthy, and he won the league MVP. I know he hasn't made it to the Super Bowl, but he has that, or to me, should I say, that's a team accolade. It requires more than just you to be able to
correct.
do that. And I'll say this: Lamar Jackson has never had a team like Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For that until right now.
right now.
Until right now. So I get it. You know what I mean? The list is going to change depending on what
Yeah,
we see. We're going to take it on a week by week basis. That would be
yeah.
the only hit that I have with regards to your list. Maybe even Detroit. I don't know. You know what I mean? They're showing some signs of cracks in the armor. But you know what I mean? For this week, I'm gonna
Yeah.
let it fly because you my boy.
Okay.
Because you my boy. I'm gonna let it fly. But next week, you know what I mean? I might have to go
We'll
in on
see.
you. You know what I mean? But that's gonna do it for us. That's gonna do it for us. I hope you guys enjoyed the topic. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you subscribe. We're gonna continue to work. We're gonna continue to get better. We have a lot of takes. We have a lot of thoughts and opinions on things that we see every week, and we want to make sure that you're a part of our family. So thank you in advance for the likes. Thank you for subscribing. My man Manny C, say peace out to the people. You got any words for him after
Peace
the
out,
first
guys.
show?
I'm very thankful for all of you. Is this show would not happen without you guys. Please subscribe, press like that like button. Tell your friends, tell your family that we are here. Club 50 is here to stay. Is here to stay. Me and Adam, we are gonna do it every single week. Once a week, we are gonna bring you joy, some topics. Again, if you like football and if you like basketball, this is where you want to be. Thank you, guys.
Don't get thrown off by the baseball cap. I just wear
Yeah.
cap. We could, hey, listen, we could talk baseball if we wanted to, but that's not what Club 50 does. At least not for
No,
right now. Once
no.
again, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, Manny, be easy, my brother. I love you.
Me too, Pablo. Love you too, man. Take care. Have a good night.
All right, brother.